Accenture, and here you are seeing Industry X. Industry X is all about connected part of the world, connected products, connected manufacturing, connected ecosystem. We are talking about electric vehicle, and it is beyond vehicle. Enough has been discussed throughout the session. A lot of speakers have spoken about. I just want to bring this basic topic of idea to execution. And in execution, as more and more companies are getting into this EV business, what are the kind of deeper conversations we are having? And I'm bringing some perspective from globe, including Europe and US, of course, besides Asia. So the engineering side and in-car software side, we feel that it is kind of getting established. There are a lot of solutions, a lot of options, and it is getting stabilized. But the big problems are surfacing in the operations area, whether it is purchasing, supply chain, or manufacturing. Manufacturing, I think Chetal was talking the coexistence of ICE and electric vehicle. And from this coexistence scenario, it is transitioning into phase-out scenario. So it is very, very difficult. It's a problem, engineering problem, but more important, it is a people problem, the skills problem. On the right side, the problem is bigger. And it is about adoption of EV as option for consumers. One is range hesitancy, and we heard that that is going away. A lot of range is coming. But charging availability as convenient as fueling option is a bigger problem, right? So that is one important thing. And has EV business model understood the customer sentiments enough? The answer is no, and it is being discovered every day. So the range availability, fueling option, equivalent charging option, understanding customer is some of the things on the right side. And then, I was working with aerospace companies, and especially Boeing, and when they introduced new 787, the amount of data 787 was spitting in a year was more than rest of the fleet. 7X7s have emitted throughout their life cycle. So with the connected vehicle, software-driven vehicle, the amount of data is going to be huge. So data management, basic data management continues to be a challenge. However, how to turn that data into revenue is a bigger challenge. Some solutions exist, some ideas exist, and some of the use cases which Sandeep was explaining about charger talking to X, vehicle talking to X, but there are enough and multiple options. I think Amar just spoke about sustainability, and sustainability in entire vehicle life cycle is becoming a problem. So here, if slide is visible to you clearly, we at Accenture are viewing it as an ecosystem, complete ecosystem, starting with mining on the left, going to the services side on the right. But throughout this journey and our experience is that this whole ecosystem is becoming a complex system of systems. It is having challenges from the energy generation side, and especially working in Europe, we are seeing with the present crisis at the borders, this energy transition is becoming a big subject. So while you will have EV, you will have charging infrastructure, but you should also have sustainable energy option, energy generation option. So energy transition, decarbonization is a big thing which is happening upstream. And then as we come to the whole EV usage side, the utility and charging infrastructure availability continues to be a big challenge. So at Accenture, we continue to see it as a complete ecosystem and have been investing, incubating in this innovative space. And over last couple of years, we acquired also a lot of companies which have become part of one Accenture. In interest of time, I will not drain too much on this, and I will also skip a video because I had a video just showcasing how all these companies, acquired companies, joining forces in one Accenture are helping. But just to give you a high-level perspective, we look at this whole canvas as batteries as one segment, EV, vehicle as second segment, and charging as third segment. Of course, charging will include charging infrastructure, charging model, but also energy generation and energy management part of it. And all these segments, we support strategy consulting, design engineering, technology advisory, and so on and so forth. But really speaking, none of these problem statements we are hearing from customer are exclusively for one segment. It is always connected. So when we talk to EV customers, the problem often relates from upstream material selection, site location, gigafactory, and so on and so forth. So across every segment, I will just give you a quick glimpse of how we are working with our clients to solve it. We have exclusive batteries services segment, where we have consulting and engineering, two segments of service. I will speak more about consulting because engineering-wise, there are quite a bit of solutions existing. I just brought few case studies to exemplify how we are working. And needless to mention that SAP is choice of technology in many areas, and it coexists with various other niche technologies. So this case study is from Norway, where a startup is investing in setting up EV gigafactory. So they wanted us to verify their complete gigafactory plan, including the kind of manufacturing processes, manufacturing equipment, manufacturing setup that they have done. And they wanted to expedite their whole setting up process, including supplier collaboration. And their aim was to supply really safe, high energy density battery, I think something which Mahesh Babu spoke about initially, and cost competitive, clean lithium ion batteries. Observation is that lithium ion is currently very, very popular. And even though in commercial vehicle segment, hydrogen fuel is gaining a lot of popularity, but most of the cases, the batteries are going towards lithium ion battery. Here also we have two segments. One is these startup kind of customers who are coming like this example of Norway. But we are also working with OEMs who are transitioning their ICE-based powertrain manufacturing setup to a battery-powered manufacturing setup. Second segment is, of course, EV. And I would frankly say that this is not a very difficult segment as far as these basic processes are concerned about engineering, plant setup, and operations. The biggest challenge that this segment is facing is integration, and integration at scale. So we have heard the concept of disruptors versus giant. So many disruptors have already crossed the chasm, and they have volume spitting factories. But the challenge the giants like Volkswagen or Daimler or others are facing is that they have multiple product platforms, and the volumes are very, very high. To get to that scale, they cannot definitely adopt the disruptor model. So that is the main problem we are hearing from our customers. And one of the example here is again from the software engineering, which I think Sandeep spoke about, that India is hub of it, and we from India are involved in this project in a big way. This is one of the leading automotive OE manufacturer. Globally, it is in top 5. And their vision is to make an integrated car architecture. Now, this car architecture will cater to currently existing IC engine-driven cars as well as future EV cars. It has multiple brands. Each brand has multiple platforms and then variants. So that complexity is very, very high. And for all this complex portfolio, this OEM wants to develop a common architecture, but on top of it, a common architecture for in-car software systems. Now that in-car software systems will not only run the cars, but will also manage the ecosystem, will also manage the car in use side of it. So it's a very, very complex program. And these software will start coming from 2025 onwards, but following agile DevOps methodology, We are in testing phase of a lot of those solutions already. The third segment, which is very, very important and most complex of all, is EV charging. And here it requires collaboration across multiple uniques. On the left side, you see the pyramid of our offerings, and on the right side, you have several examples where we are working. So besides strategy and consumer experience, we do have a lot of focus on the charging side. And I'll just narrate a quick case study from Europe. So this free-to-move is a e-solution which is being developed in Europe. And it is primarily aimed at providing customer that convenience, which I spoke about earlier, through public as well as private or hybrid charging wherever they go, so that it becomes convenient, coupled with the range, sufficient range in EV. They want to enhance embracing this EV vehicles. So this is where Accenture is working with Stellantis. I'm sure you know about this company now, the new name of PSA, Fiat, and Chrysler combined. And ENGIE is one of the France headquartered energy provider. So they had this joint program called Free2Move, where Accenture is working with them. And the whole objective is to go to net zero as soon as possible. Of course, they have set up time till 2035. What we are working is really defining the complete subscription-based model and then bringing that into the reality through various platform solutions coupled with mobile app where consumer can really control their consumption, charging, and usage. In addition, we are also working on installing charging points across Europe and integrating it with the grid. So a lot of these use cases were described, so I'm not going to drain it. But actually, Accenture is working on these solutions, developing platform, and also more and more working towards the new fleet electrification strategy. So there are several examples. Just in interest of time, I will leave it for your visual consumption. And that's all from my side. I can be contacted. We have Dr. Ashish Mishra, who can be contacted for further discussion. Thank you.